talk to him. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, how are you?
Great, great. I'm very excited to have you on. Uh, what are some of your thoughts about being on Fest 3 and becoming the part of the Missing Fake family?
Well, it's totally cool, man. We had such a good time playing for that, and I mean, Johnny is he's the nicest guy, and he invited us over to play that, and we had such a good time that we're playing the Finka thing too. And it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun, man. And we had such a good crowd. The energy at Hub City was like electric. I
Yeah.
mean, it was great. Yeah, it was so much fun.
What
It
what a
really was.
venue.
It's a great venue. Yeah, it totally is. It's super.
Did
It's
you?
the perfect amount of intimacy there. It's great.
Yeah. And like buy some probably pretty to find records in the room next door, and then come over and see
Yeah,
some killer bands in the same day. It's like unheard of.
yeah. No, it's the coolest. It really is. Yeah.
All right, sisters, tell me a little bit about the band, and I want to get your thoughts on what you think of this one. Tell me where Shake the Barn comes from.
Well, it's something that I wrote. I wrote it a long time ago, and it kind of started off as more of like a hillbilly, like classic country kind of like boogie tune. And back when I wrote it, probably 3 or so years ago, when I used to work landscape, and every time I would like start mowing grass or or weed eating, you're kind of alone with your thoughts, and I just get these ideas for songs, and I thought, man, shake the barn, and I just ran to the work truck, grabbed a piece of paper, and started writing down these lyrics, and of course I fleshed it out when I got home. And we've been playing it, different ways. I feel like every time we play a song, it kind of morphs into something a little bit different. And before we
Yeah,
recorded this song, we thought, let's change it up because we have so many songs that kind of sound like, sound like the way we were playing it. And Charles, the steel guitar player, and the he plays guitar as well. He thought of like kind of making it more of like a Chuck Berry kind of sound. And so we
yeah,
took it from the classic, kind of like hillbilly country boogie thing, and kind of streamlined it into a more like Chuck Berry sound. And I think it turned out great. It gave it the change that it needed, that's for sure, and kind of put a little bit of energy into it. So I was happy with how it turned out.
yeah, 100%. And then you have I for when I first saw the name Shake the Barn, of course, there was the analogy of if the van is rocking. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Kind of like that connotation. But you are like super clean cut. We can see, it's early in the morning on the East Coast, and you got the hair looking perfect.
Yeah, man.
You're dressed to the nines, and you're ready to go. And you showed up pro for me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thanks for having me again.
Oh yeah, totally. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is not this one, but this one, right? Tell me about this particular EP and why there are some instrumentals incorporated, and even like with the steel guitar.
So this is the Richmond sessions, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. Right
yeah,
on. So yeah, this was our first album, and we're currently working on some other things. We had a little bit of a different lineup, and we were just kind of figuring out our sound. So on that first album, we were putting in things that, certain just different kind of things, trying to feel things out still. And we had a couple of instrumentals that like the one you just played, Dirty Dan. That kind of, you know, some would argue maybe doesn't fit the theme or whatever, but we had a good time writing that, and we've changed that up recently too. Johnny had put a version of that on his Wolfman compilation that's coming out soon, so we're excited to hear that. But yeah, you know, that album was our first one. We were just getting in the swing of things, and we recorded live. Well, we recorded all of our stuff live in Charles, the steel guitar player's basement, and we try to make it sound as raw and authentic as we can. You know, we're working with, you know, a pretty rustic setup, and all live, recorded in the basement, super DIY, you know, and we approach it, I guess, you know, how the guys would back in the day. So, you know, it's kind of got that raw, aggressive sound. So.
Yeah, I would love to hear it's analog, but the chances would be that it's not because it's in your basement, right?
What's that?
I said I would love to hear that it's an analog recording, but chances are it's not because it's in your basement.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But live recordings is always a better vibe, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we kind of try to keep the energy. I feel like when you strip it down, the energy is not there, you know?
Yeah, totally. So one of the things that I thought was great is that you came up for Virginia to Maryland at Hub City, Hagerstown in Maryland, and which was kind of right in the middle of Philadelphia where I am. So you know, Johnny's really like coming from Athens, Georgia on his show. He really made it possible for not in a weird way, but the northern states to kind of commingle with the southern states and music-wise bring the different, you know, the rockabilly into the, let's say, surf and punk rock. You know, I mean, that Fink Fest was really great mix of bands, and you know, I love the Atomic Mosquitoes, and I think they're great guys.
Oh yeah.
And that version of The Girl You Want by the Hellflowers is of course I love Devo, but I have to say, walking away, my wife's like, who were they? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. Like, your band. So we would love for Finkoween if you would let us come up and do just a little short blip with you and just so Jen can talk to you and just tell her how she feels about your music, because she's more of a rockabilly type. She's more Elvis than Beatles, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah, me too.
So that brings me to the release on Missing Fink, and I just heard from a certain person that there will be also a full length on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're trying to. I'm writing a lot of new songs, and we're thinking that we're gonna, you know, make our new album more kind of like Bob Wills meets Bill Haley and the Comets. That's kind of our next project. So yeah, totally original songs, you know, and yeah, we're looking forward to doing that.
Well, that leads me to something that, and please don't be. Think I'm belittling your music at all, because I'll tell you why. I think that instrumental stuff that you do sounds very, very similar to the kind of stuff that was done in Tom and Jerry and that kind of thing. If you remember those old guitar, rockabilly, rock and roll instrumentals that they put in those old cartoons, I'm like, I think this guy's like he's on that path, and I said, this is fucking brilliant. Nobody's doing this. So, you know, my hat's off to you, sir. And being an instrumentalist when I was very young, You know, I take that, any sort of music, very seriously. And, you know, like Bill Haley, like you said, like Rock Around the Clock, is very similar to those musics they use. So tell me about what it is about that era of rock and roll being, that's pretty much well started. Like, why is that your passion?
Well, for me, I think it's because it's like the first. I mean, it's the first iteration of the genre. You know, of course, there's roots from country and blues, but the culmination is this early rock and roll, which for me, it has all the energy of those roots genres, but it's just boiled down and concentrated into this raw, you know, super energetic sound that is just, it's addicting, man. You listen to it and you can feel the energy. You know, some of the tracks, and actually some of my favorite vintage songs, you know, old rockabilly songs, are like, it's not the most complicated musically. You know, the arrangements are kind of very simple, but the attack and the passion, you can hear that. You know, you can hear that over the record or whatever you're listening to. You know, and that's for me what draws me to the music. You know, it's that energy, it's that approach. It's just, I can't get enough of it, you know. And we try to replicate that as best we can by, you know, recording the way we do and coming up with instrumentals in the same vein. So,
you know, there was even one tune that you did with the steel guitar that was kind of like, I don't want to say like kind of exotica maybe, or surf, tiki, kind of rockabilly thing. So there really is, besides like your roots approach to it, there's a lot more to it. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I think it's hard to not pull from, you know, it's easy to say, yeah, we pull specifically from, like, you know, vintage rock and vintage like country and all that stuff, but you can't not pull from things that you listen to that are more contemporary, I guess. And I think, you know, with a lot of this, I can't just say obviously that it's me, but it's just the guys in the band as well. You know, they're all pulling from their idols and what they enjoyed listening to. And, you know, I feel like that's a great thing, having those kind of guys, you know, in the band, because, you know, like our drummer Nick, he has a jazz background, so he's pulling, you know, from jazz, and Charles, the steel player, he's a multi-instrumentalist. He can play anything, and he loves all genres of music. And Matthias, being, you know, a rockabilly guy, and his godfather being a tango violinist, so from Argentina. So we have all these influences. Oh yeah. So we have all these influences in our music that, even if we don't speak on them, it seems to me like you can kind of hear, you know, these kind of subtle hints to our influences. That's really cool that you picked up on that.
Well, I did, because I'm a dork, but
no, you're a music nerd like me, and I love that.
Yeah, totally. But I like it all, like everything. Like all, I get it. I always want to compliment whoever I'm talking to, but like, oh no, I think I get what you're doing, but I also think it's not as intentional as some people might think. It's more about feeling, and like it just naturally comes out of you because it's a style of music you like. Is that true, you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's also subconscious, you know? Like, we could be intentionally trying to do something, but we just can't, you know, it's just the way that we interpret the music, and it's just our, you know, our subconscious feelings or our approach, you know, that kind of makes it a little bit, you know, contemporary or different from the rest. And I think that's what makes it, you know, that's what sets it apart, I guess, you know.
Yeah. We like, I'm sure you have like a regular crowd in Virginia and, you know, the surrounding areas of what town are you in?
So I'm from Charlottesville. Me and the bass player Matthias, we kind of live around here, but Nick, he's from Winchester, and Charles is from Richmond, so kind of Central Virginia is where we say that we're from.
Okay. My daughter's going to West Virginia University, which is closer to you than it is to me, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But that part of the country, very underrated. Very underrated. Not talked about enough. Especially when you walk in and you hear real country music into the like a store or anything, and you walk in and you're like, oh, what's this? And like this you're not hearing on the radio. It's a DJ playing like the good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a rare thing. You know, it's a rare thing to hear real country music. And I feel like here in Charlottesville, there's a local bar called Dirty Nelly's, and they kind of bring in some really good, you know, original country, you know, honky tonk bands that are doing it upright. So yeah, it's a rare thing, but when you find it, it really is a treat, you know. So
yeah, it's like when you came up, and I'm like, Jen, I think these guys are the real deal. I mean, they're not like, and don't get me wrong, I love psychobilly as much as the next guy. I mean, I really like it, but it's always good to see somebody whose like heart and soul is where yours is at. And I totally get what you're doing, and I really like it, and I can't wait for people to hear you guys. I'm sure you're already getting tons of emails from camp. Hey, where the hell are you guys? Like, when are you gonna come to my state? You know, like, when's your next record coming out? Are you putting it on any vinyl? Like, tell me about what that's like for you.
It's wild. I'm still kind of, you know, it's an interesting thing to kind of wrap my head around. We've been blessed to play a couple of really cool rockabilly festivals, and you know, we've had a few people come up, you know, and say, hey, we love your music, and for me, it's alien to me, you know, because, you know, it's a humbling thing, you know, it's great, it's so cool.
What a lot of underground rock and roll is featured at, like, say, the town festivals, like local town, and also local venues, smaller venues, more intimate, and shows. And you guys would fit perfectly in a car show setting. And I'm pretty sure you have your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, car shows would be totally cool. We like playing the kind of gigs that are more, you know, down home. I feel like that's kind of our thing. I love that stuff. You know, I like playing the like 4th of July festivals, and you know, these small towns. And those for me are like, it's real. You know what I mean? Like it's you're playing to, you know, your audience. It's just a cool thing. Those are personally my favorite kind of gigs. Awesome.
What are you looking forward to the most come end of 2025 and into 2026? I'm sure the future's bright, but what are you looking most forward to sharing with you know, the audience and people in general?
So pretty excited that we have some singles coming out. We have our next project that we're going to be releasing. It's going to be, well, this is the first time I've said anything about it, but we're hoping that it comes out in late June, so late this month, early July. We've got I guess you call it a double. It's going to be released. It's surf instrumentals, totally original stuff. One track is called Surf and Turf, and the other track is called Bail Bond. It's totally some cool, I think anyway, you know, some cool surf stuff. So look out for that. We've also got some other stuff coming out, and hopefully by the beginning of 2026, our project, the Bob Wills meets Bill Haley kind of swing rockabilly kind of thing will be coming out. And that's going to be a full LP. So we're pretty excited about that.
Oh man, I'm looking so forward to it. And I already Like, Johnny hasn't even had it pressed yet. I'm like, can I put my order in now, please? Like, and he's like, I'm releasing this record. I'm like, can I get that? And he's like, well, it's been done. I'm like, now? Like, can you just put one aside for me, and then I will certainly buy it, but could you just put one aside for me for now? So, anyways, thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on.
Oh man, thanks.
And yeah, you've been like a real trooper to get up and be a total pro in the morning. It's pretty ridiculous that you actually agreed to it, considering that you're of an age where you probably have a day job and you have to like kind of juggle probably a lot of things just to make this happen. So thank you very much.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
And with the way she rolls, but no